the illustrations that you gave about your concussion or different situations that they find themselves in, those are not like just unique to sports.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
are life situations.
That's what ministry looks like.
Yes. And so when you were working through that, right? Did you ever have one of those kids or one of those people that you had that moment with come back to you and say, "Hey, thank you, Coach Turner, for, just spending that time with me. I was able to kind of get through this situation or that helped me in this part of my life," anything like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, we did this cool activity this one time. And this really opened my eyes to I guess the influence, because sometimes you feel like you're hitting your head against the wall. Like, is what I'm doing really working? And then something happens. You're like, okay, I'm on the right path. So we had a Friday game the day after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, so we did our chapel on Thanksgiving because they had a Friday game. So what I did for our chapel was I gave all the guys a piece of paper and an envelope. I said, "Hey, for our chapel today, I read a Psalm of Thanksgiving. I said, I want you guys to write a letter to someone important in your life and just thank them for being important in your life." That's what we did for our chapel.
That's good.
And I had a kid write me a thank you letter. I still have it. I got it like framed,
Let's go.
because you put in like weeks and weeks of time with these kids, and sometimes they're not getting anything. It's like this way in youth ministry too.
Yeah.
You are like, are you guys really hearing what I'm saying? But then something clicks in their end, and you're there at the right moment, at the right timing. And, I'll say it this way too. Business is a lot of the same way, like Zach, you're working the pod. Sometimes like I'm hitting my head against the wall, doing this over and over and over. All it takes is one handshake at the right place at the right time, and next thing you know, it's blown up.
That's right, bro.
Amen,
we receive.
Yeah.
In Jesus' name.
But bro, I mean, that's how it is in the business world. I mean, in the business world, it's all about consistency and longevity. In ministry, it's the same way. I mean, I just stepped down from being a youth pastor, but our senior pastor has a saying. He says all the time. He says, "You never get ahead by starting over," and it is so true. Like sometimes you see youth pastors that jump from church to church to church to church, and we're both pastors, so we see it, and it's like, how can you do ministry only being somewhere for 6 months?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Like it took me 4 months to learn everyone's name.
That's right.
I mean, it's hard, and you have no context for anything. You think everyone's best friends. Like let me tell a funny Calvary story. This is funny. I don't think this is a bad story. So, but we're going to go with it. So I have been at Calvary for like 3 months, and we decided when we were going to do a fall retreat. So I'm like, okay. So I think everyone's friends with each other, and like, welcome to the real world. Like people don't like each other, even in churches, like there's, what? So I decided, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to room these kids together, I'm just making all the rooms for like 40 kids.
You're like Denzel, remember the Titans?
Yeah, I'm like, you saying with you. And I don't know any of these kids. I literally know none of them. I'm brand new to this church. And I end up rooming like some girls together that straight up hate each other.
Oh, God.
I end up rooming some guys together that are like mortal enemies and stuff. And it's just like, man, I mean, you just assume that people are all friends.
Right.
And then you get in there and you have no context for anything. But this is what happens when you stay at a church for longer than 2 years, when you stay at a church for longer than 3 years, when you stay there for longer than 4 years, you start to learn context for things, and then you start to learn how I can minister to people. In 3 months being somewhere, no shot. I mean, you might just collect a paycheck every week, and then, okay, this church up the road is hiring for $2,500 more. Okay, see, you didn't really do ministry.
Yeah.
And I know that might sound harsh to say.
No, that's true. You're chasing a check, and you're not really. It feels like you're not letting God speak, because I don't feel like, you would be called into ministry to be somewhere for such a short period of time where you can't even learn people's names. Like that just doesn't. God is a God of I feel like structure and clarity, and not a God of confusion and whatnot. And granted, He can use you in any season of life for a certain reason, but at the same time, I do feel like that longer form connections and building relationships is essential for for pastors, for ministers, for character coaches.
Thank you so much for supporting our YouTube channel. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and smash that like button. If you would like to see another short clip from this episode, you can do so here. Or if you want to see the full conversation, you can do so here. And make sure you subscribe on Patreon if you'd like to partner with us. You can do that, the link in the description of this video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.